Oh boy, here they come. Well, I'm okay now, but you should have seen me last week. Wow, I had a difficult holiday in a mechanical sense. There you go. I put these dry roasted unsalted peanuts out there, and there they go. They get 2 or 3 at a time. Good for them. And I got my topside creeper, and I wrapped up my rib cage, and I went down to the barn, and I went through just mortal heck. So we're talking about a 2019. There's some of the VIN number. I'm not going to put it all on there. I do this every time, don't I? You got to count on it. 2019 Mazda 2.5 liter gasoline turbo. Now there are turbos, there are naturally aspirated gas, and there are diesels, I understand. So I just was going to put plugs in it and do kind of a routine maintenance kind of a thing. Oil change and stuff like that. And I thought, well, we'll just knock spots out of this just in no time. And so I looked it up on various sites, the plugs. And I kept coming up with this number. This would be an NGK 90288 or Denso or whatever. And those are Lazar Iridium, whatever that means. I know what iridium means, but whatever. Don't think there's any lasers in them, but whatever. That's the oil filter. Your results may vary. Those are expensive. Those are like $22 each. And I thought, well, okay, it is a turbo and all that stuff. So I looked them up on various different places. I went on Amazon. I went to Rock Auto, and you can do it yourself. I went to more information, and it calls for this DILKAR7MB, which is the $22 kind. I looked them up on Parts Geek. I tried to look and see what the tricks were. There really aren't any, except you're going to be taking there's a little metal plate back there that's got like 4 bolts in it, 3 8mm and a 10mm. You get that out of the way. Very carefully pull your coil packs up. Don't tug on the wires. You don't even have to unplug them. And you got to get way down in there with a magnetic 14mm to get that thing out. Now my method was to, and I'm going to tell you everything I did. My method was to unscrew them and just get a magnet, pull them out. I don't have a magnetic 14mm spark plug thing. So anyway, 9/16 14mm, pretty close. So when I put them back in, I just wrap them with a little frog tape right here and get them tight in the thing and put them back down. But that's not what we're talking about. Just try to get away with not buying a bunch of tools you only use once every 50,000 miles on a car that isn't even yours and you may never see again. So this is what I got. I got this number here for this car, and went armed with all my information up to my local O'Reilly's. Got a real good guy. He looked it up on his computer, got the same number, and brought out the NGK's, this number, and there's another number here. This is like the number you go by. And so I came back, I took the old plugs out, I put the new plugs in, and I started it, and it ran very badly. And then check engine light came on. And I thought, well, things that make you go, and that was certainly one of them. So I thought there for a minute, and I put a little dielectric grease on the tips of the coil packs, the rubber coil packs. Car's long gone, and I just wasn't going to make a video about this because there's a million videos about putting plugs in it, but not one like this, not what happened to me. So I thought, well, maybe I missed getting the coil pack on plug or something, and I took it apart. Doesn't take long. And I was fine. Everything was fine. And I didn't understand what went on. So I have like 5 different computers. I got 2 Foxwells, and I got a couple different kinds. It doesn't matter. And I was looking for maybe, because one time I was doing a tune up on my BMW. I put plugs in it at 50,000 miles, and one of my coil packs went bad. And you can switch them around to see if the problem follows the coil pack, and that's what it was. I got a coil pack, it was fine. And I thought, okay, so why am I not getting a misfire code on this Mazda? Well, it's because they're all misfiring, because that's the wrong plug. And it calls for it. And it was verified at O'Reilly's. So I got the old plugs that were just lying on my topside creeper there that I love. And this is an LKAR7BGP. That's the old one that's in my hand. You can see where it was leaking around the insulator there. That little burnt tan looking stuff. So I collected up one of these, and the spark plugs, I had to take them back out. They're used now, and I got these. Now these are like $6 each. These are $6 each. These are $22 each, and they have a different kind of a tip. There's a tip on both the insulator. I mean, coming out of the plug-in on the whatever the grounding strap or whatever you want to call that. So there's one from the top and the bottom. So I took them out, went back up there, got the big guy, the head of the store, and he came out and he said, these plugs are not supposed to be in your car according to our standards. I said, well, I put the ones in there that it calls for, and I looked up everything, and he did too. And I think if you're really super careful, I don't know. Everybody seems to want to go to this, including him. And he looked for several minutes and looked and dug and looked and dug. And anyway, these don't work. So I got a set of these, and O'Reilly's was great because they took the other ones in on. They took them back. Even though I had installed them and run them only for a minute, and I thought, well, that's not fair. But it's $94 worth of plugs, 4 plugs, and they took them in as warranty, or that's what it was, warranty. So great, O'Reilly's, big thumbs up for them. And the reason they had to do it is because there was nowhere in sight that anything was calling for the plug that was in this car. So, gosh, I wish I'd have made a video on this, but I just didn't. So I'm having to kind of do this in retrospect. So I came back and put these in. Very carefully put the coil pack, put it back together again, and cranked it up, ran like a champ, ran like a top. Now, all the spark plugs were loose also. These are the original plugs out of the car. And they were all just like finger tight. And that happens. And now mine calls for like 20 Newton meters of tightness. So, but anyway, it took me several computers, but I got the code because it gave me a code for the engine control module, the ECM. And it didn't really say anything was wrong. It just threw a code at that only because all the plugs were wrong. I thought that was interesting. So I got no misfire codes. So it took me a while to clear the codes, but I did. I got it all cleared out. Cranked it up, ran better than it did when it came here. It wasn't running badly. And I've gotten a report, it's been a couple of days now, that they've driven it, I don't know, several hundred miles over the holiday here. And they say it's smoother, it shifts smoother, it's not really that much gas mileage going up, but who knows, it would be somewhat minute. So my advice to you is, no matter what you're working on, doesn't matter if you're working on a 1939 Auburn Cord boat tail, be sure and just pull a plug. If it was running okay and running for 50,000 miles, 100,000 miles, just take the old plug with you. I should have done that, but I figured a 5-year-old, 6-year-old car that this stuff would be good. Now, I'll tell you my other little story. One of my first cars was a 1967 Triumph TR3. No, I'm not from Canada. It's not a TR3. No, a TR3, letter A. That was a difficult time. I got a TR4A. No, just give me the VIN number. Okay. And I discovered very early on, I went to change the plugs in it the first time, and it had L87Ys in it. L87Y is a bigger round plug, but it's got a very short reach because that's what goes in most old classic Volkswagen bugs. So the reach is like half an inch. I don't know what it is. And I was actually at a parts store, and there was a Champion representative there. And I asked him, I said, okay, L87Ys, and he said, fine. So I went back to my house, which is 2 blocks away, and I measured the reach. I knew enough back then to measure the reach in my TR4A, and it's like 3/4 of an inch. I thought, well, and I happened to have an MGB at the time that took Champion N12YCs. I measured the reach. I put N12YCs in my TR4 that call for L87Ys and N9YCs. Much longer plug than that. And it never ran better. Now you can use N9, whatever heat range you L87 would relate to, but I happen to have those. It ran great. It ran far better. And the other thing I noticed was it was burning oil. And the reason it was burning oil, if you've ever seen these on old cars, they used to have these extenders that put your spark plug up away from the combustion chamber to help lower oil consumption. Boy, that's a hack. But now that my plug was actually like where it was supposed to be in my TR4A, it would burn oil because the valve guide seals, the valve seals were disintegrated, and I really just didn't know that. And I looked down in there, and it was a mite oily and messy. I ended up rebuilding that motor over that problem. But so I think from the mid 50s to the mid 60s, the Champion plug for the TR4A is incorrect. What Champion calls for L87Ys are wrong. Measure your reach for sure. Don't do what I do. Make sure you're right. And I went to a professional place. I worked at a professional Triumph company. I don't want to say who. And these guys were it at that time. This guy owned 100 different Triumphs and machine shops, and maybe 100 people worked there, maybe less, shipping and receiving and all. And they would not believe me that L87Ys were wrong. And I had to take them out to my car, and they had dozens and dozens of TR2 and 3 and 4 and 4A heads out there, that 1991 to 2138cc. And I showed them. I said, well, here's a head sitting on a table with L87Y, and you got this much space that your combustion's not right, your mixture's not going to swirl around the top of the piston and burn correctly, and you can be burning oil and you don't know it. And if finally I got through to them. Now the TR6 is a different motor, 6-cylinder inline. But the moral of the story is, somewhere in this time period on a Mazda 2019, there's some kind of switch from this plug to that plug, but it ain't clear on anything parts wise. So that's all I want to say today. And so I don't know how I'm gonna name this thing. 2019 2.5 liter gas turbo spark plug change went awry or something. I don't know. We're gonna have to figure that out. But the report has been great. Caused me a lot of pain. I thought maybe the coil packs one of the coil packs had gone bad because I moved it, or I had unplugged something accidentally. And when I work on modern stuff, I am like a surgeon. I am very, very careful. I'm very careful about everything. But I don't even put my hands on the engine to hold myself up in the event of knocking off a hose or knocking off a wire or something like that. So they got a nice mobile oil filter. And I got to tell you too, just as a side note,
if I've got an oil filter that I can put oil in it on an oil change on fresh oil, I put it in there. Everybody's different. I watch that video on that guy, and they say you contaminate it and all that other stuff. I use Schaefer's oil. I'm very careful, and I don't see any reason. Go to Parts Geek. He believes in putting oil in a filter before you know, on an oil change, and I let the oil drain out for at least 4 or 5 hours and get it all out. So nice fresh Schaefer's oil change, new plugs, topped up the brake fluid, the washer fluid, aired up the tires, and all that stuff. And they can't be more happy. But I got to tell you, this caused me a lot of pain for a couple hours. So don't let that happen to you. Okay. Thumbs up. Wish I had more footage I could show on a working situation. But I can tell you, if you crank that thing up and it shakes and rattles and rolls, and your check engine light comes on, turn it off, pull out them plugs, get your old plugs, and compare the numbers. That's where I'm coming from this whole big long story. All right, what fun! So happy 2025 to everybody, and we'll talk soon. Be mindful. Thanks for sharing some time with me. Bye-bye.